this is it. And it is quite unfortunate. The final day of Mega Man X DiVE Global. In less than 24 hours, the game will be ending service, and the servers will be shutting down across all versions of the global game. So, as a final farewell, we are going to be burning every last elemental metal on every last banner. However, there are 2 characters I missed that I can no longer obtain, and thus the collection remains incomplete. Those being White Tron and Halloween Via. So, as a final farewell to the game, we were given an all-star that only took 300 EMs and guaranteed a seasonal character, or in the rare case of Base Cross, a Dive Fest if you were lucky. Because he was classified as a Dive Fest in the end. So, we are going to put 600 EMs into this, 2,000 EMs into the S-Class banner to round out the pity, 5,000 more to get a second pity, and then the remaining ones will be here. No need to cut, no need to edit. Let's just begin. So, oh, speaking of Base Cross, nice! That's one way to start off the final recording. Anyway. Yeah, I am going to miss this game. I am very much going to. It's been fun. It's been one hell of a ride. It's been one hell of a journey. Why, hello, Halloween Marino. Well, there goes any potential monetization for that, even though I don't really care. Oh, man. So, next up is the S-Class Hunter banner. We are going to be doing 2 pities, both of which will be going toward Advanced Palette if I feel like building her at this point. I don't see a reason to. Oh, we got a double, though. Not the last free pull in the game. Character. Vengeful Wild. Nice. Nice. And weapon. That's probably Absolute Freeze. Yep. How oddly appropriate. But anyway. So yeah, with DiVE officially ending service tomorrow, as of recording this, I'm going to take this opportunity to give a retrospective on just how I feel about DiVE as a whole. In all honesty, there will never be another gacha quite like this. One that manages to really capture what made Mega Man X such a beloved franchise. Weapon, don't really care too much about those. On the final 10 multis, I will let them all play out regardless. Because this will be the last time we ever see a lot of this stuff. Anyway. To me, Mega Man X DiVE, regardless of whether it was the Taiwan version or the global release, really captured what made Mega Man X such a beloved franchise. And then just went and turned it into a giant celebration of all of Mega Man. Classic, X, Zero, ZX, Legends, Battle Network, and Star Force all together. The If you're wondering why I'm playing this out, I suspect a fake out somewhere. But yeah, it brought everything together in one giant collection, with plenty of OC alts from time to time. That's why Year 3 failed so miserably for Taiwan, but still. Anyway. As a whole, the game itself in its entirety, it controlled like an absolute dream. I'm surprised even mobile controls, like mobile touch controls, which you would think would not work for a game like this, worked as well as it did. And as a result, it managed to draw players in that were fans of the franchise. And combined all of the best aspects of the PlayStation 1 era of X, which is probably still my favorite way to play X to this day in terms of control, and the Maverick Hunter X engine, which molded together into absolute perfection in terms of control, in terms of movement, in terms of just about everything you could ever want. And when it came down to it with this game, there was always something to do. There was a reason to keep playing. There was a reason to just keep at the grind. I will admit, probably the worst part of doing that grind was co-op. I do love a lot of these stages in terms of their overall design. And there goes any more demonetization time later. So, I am going to do this. Burn one of the pities on True Zero Z, so you get to see me pulling him on camera. He's the only S-Class Hunter you didn't get to see me pull for, because at the time I was sick. He's honestly still probably my favorite of the S-Class Hunters, even if I'd consider Lair the best one. And the second one will go to Advanced Palette. Yeah, we don't care too much. We'll see most of these guys again in the final 45k EMs, because it is DiVE Fest banner time. But as a whole, there was always something to do. The co-ops, like I said, are being like the worst part of it, because unlocking those was a bit of a pain. And I am not one to deny that. The stages themselves were fun. I just wish you had a way to get more tokens without, you know, having other players every week. Because for a while, that became a bit of a tricky problem. And considering a lot of great cards were left behind the co-op shop, well, for the time anyway, there really wasn't much of a way to go about actually getting all this stuff done. Not efficiently, anyway. But the rest was always a blast to go through. Story stuff, even though the story in this game was a bit on the weak side, it was definitely still a fun story. And a lot of the events being a part of it made this truly feel like a grand celebration of Mega Man. And I can't thank Capcom enough for that. Even the collab event stories were fun. I just wish we got one for Devil May Cry. But, oh well, what can you do? as a whole, I think the game really shined its brightest as a celebration of the franchise. Yes, I know a lot of people had complaints with it in the Taiwan version by the end. I know people have wanted Global to fail with a lot of the stuff it has done over the years, and while I do agree that some of Global's decisions were rushed, a lot of them were for a while, especially the Monster Hunter 2 incident, very greedy decisions. I do think by the end, Global did a great job of bringing more content. Now, when it comes to the Global exclusive stuff, that is where this version ultimately had its downfall. The S-Class Hunter idea getting expanded upon? Great! I'm actually all for that. The buffs to older characters, a lot of us were excited. But then it just turned into, there was clear-cut favoritism with a lot of the buffs, with a lot of the changes in general, and just showing, like, spite to its player base. That wanted their characters to be given all the tools they need so that they could play their passion characters again. This happened with quite a few characters, and it definitely caused some massive discourse among players and the developers as a whole, which was, in my opinion, Global's biggest problem once we got into the new content. While I do agree that, you know, this wasn't exactly all new content, giving older characters a fresh breath of air and just new life really made the game shine in a way that we never thought was possible. Some of my favorite buffs in this game were easily, as much as I hate to admit this about my personal demon, Copy X. If you know, you know. Just saying. There was also Super Bass. His buffs were really good. Ryu's were good, just honest. Halloween Ales, even though they didn't age well at all, because of the stat changes every now and again, I absolutely loved those buffs. They made her feel like a new character. They made her feel complete in a lot of areas that she was lacking in since day one. That could be a fake out for all I know, so we're like... Anyway. Something I guess worth talking about with DiVE as a whole is one of its shining factors, to me at least. I know a lot of people are going to say it's raids. For raids, it depended on the boss too much. Granted, for PvP, it did depend on the map too much. You played, really. Oh, hey, babe. Anyway. For raids, it depended too much on the boss. There were some bosses that were great. One of my go-to examples, honestly. I mean, Hell Sigma was just really easy. Omega was good. I forget if X-Kai was ever a boss originally. I don't think he was. No, he wasn't. But Global's X-Kai boss was great. Rogue was great. Ooh, a triple. I have to admit, Virus Sigma might be one of the worst ones. Irvin Gunner wasn't that bad. Reaper Sigma X4 Phase 1 was really good. But like, the point is, and that's the first Endax of the run. Sword Tornado, how oddly appropriate, and double Endax. Now, if only I got that when I was pulling from the original. Anyway. But as a whole, it depended too much on the boss. To me, PvP in particular was the highlight of Mega Man X DiVE in general. To many, it devolved into a game of iframe spam. Well, true iframe spam anyway. To me, it devolved a little bit too much into Zoner Hell, and the global buff era, I think, ended on a better note than Taiwan did, although not by much. That's number 3, by the way. And in some areas, meant to skip. In some areas, it ended up worse. Notably Easter Roll. But other than that, that's about it. Most of the balancing, however, was heavily catered toward dual melee. And while I am very appreciative that dual melee got to come back, it ended up becoming overbearing. Kinda similar to how Endax ended up in Taiwan, except arguably more so, because I don't even think Endax was like this uncontested, invincible monster that people made him out to be back in the day. Like, Dive Armor Eco and ZXA were a thing with Comet Miracle, and Fantasia Comet with Miracle Blade was absolutely broken. I would argue that was the de facto combo. Ultimate Blast kinda sucked. It was only ever, like, a thing because there were no good busters that could pierce terrain. The stun laser was funny, but with 14 range on the main buster shots, you weren't able to get good use out of a laser fully, now were you? Not without manual in, anyway. So, that was a thing. And the Taiwan era overall was an interesting-ish era, but it was like a 10-character meta. And that was really about it. At least Global did do enough to make plenty of characters actively viable, to some extent. Now, I have my personal gripes with the ZXA buffs. They were horribly mishandled. On purpose, even. Can confirm. However, I will state that a lot of buffs were really good. Just there was a select few that weren't. That's basically what I have to say on that matter. And those ones that weren't really sucked. So, for the first pity, I think it's only fitting that we let the curse do its thing one more time. For those who don't know, basically when Copy X's Dive Fest first came out, oh, we're gonna see the alarm pig out too, nice. When his Dive Fest first came out, I didn't want him, I know a lot of people did, I wasn't one of them. Got him for free. Fast forward to the pickup with him in 3rd Armor X. I did a meme single because I said, you know what, let's be funny and see if I can get 3rd Armor. It gives me Copy X on that single. Fast forward to Base GS when he released. burnt like 11 to 14k or something like that. Nothing, except I got Copy X again. Fast forward a few months later to Base XX. Well, you know where that went. Well, that was a thing. But to me, PvP as a whole, even if it did have its issues across either version, depending on what way you look at it was the highlight of this game for me. It was fun taking on a lot of the top players. In fact, I might go for one final set with someone who I know wanted to fight me for a while now. So, look forward to a potential final set of PvP. No commentary for that. Actually, I might commentate on that one live for once. We'll see how this goes. One of the rare times where I'll actually be commentating on PvP. But anyhow. May as well check my phone battery because it is kind of low. Okay, there will be a notification coming up on my screen about a low battery. I did not think to turn on Do Not Disturb, so you will be seeing that. One of the rare times I'll actually get to see that. But I wanted to get this going as kind of a final thoughts while I actually could do that, because after this I have Touhou Lost World to get back to. Which, speaking of which, for those of you who want to find me on other games now that DiVE is done, you can still find me, of course, on Duel Links as the resident Synchron specialist. You can find me on Touhou Lost World as a Sakuya aficionado. But you knew that already. Plenty of other fighting games you might be able to find me on from time to time. Let's see here. What else is there? On occasion, you might see me on Pokemon Unite, but I know that I don't play Unite that much. Basically, the best place to find me after all of this, if you know me through Mega Man X DiVE, is probably through Discord. So if you haven't, you might find me elsewhere just by pure dumb luck. Let's see what the weapon is, because why not? Bruh, really? So yeah, no. There's a good number of places you can probably still find me after DiVE is, shutting down. However, all is not lost for this game. For those who don't know, the Rockman Derivative Works team is working on getting all the online content back into offline, minus how banners work. I'm skipping this one mainly because, well, I don't suspect it'll be a character, to be honest. And of course, the moment I don't, that's like, what, 4 indexes now? Or is it 5? I forget. I'll check the memory count after this. But yeah, we are burning every single elemental metal, just in general. I think it's the only fitting way to truly wrap up this game. Oh, hey, Rogue. I just built you, like, for a little bit of time earlier. Fun character. Really fun character. And another one of my favorite buffs in World War in general. Even if his move barrier did get nerfed today. Huh. Not much in the way of battery loss. That's a little unusual. But for my last 2 pities, I am going to be using them on who I consider probably my 2 favorite DiVE Fest characters. Just in general. both when it comes to just using them. Oh, there was an index fake out. There we go. That's like, what, number 5 or 6? Something like that. Oh, fake out. That's a triple. There's going to be an index or 2 in there. I just know it. Oh, man. Anyway. Oh, there was, in fact, an index. There we go. But yeah, as a whole, I'm sad to see Mega Man X Dive go. I'm sad to see that Mega Man as a franchise is now in official limbo in terms of games. Oh, that's a fake out, so there's a third S rank in there. That was a legit triple. Unfortunately, didn't mean anything but another index. Hey. Okay, checking my battery again. I'll be frequently checking it, at least until we get the 20% notification. One of the rare times I actually break the sort of professionalism for this recording, but for this one time, I really don't care. It's a sentimental time. It is a time of farewells, a time of an ending of an era, and as such, the beginning of a new era. It's something where I think it's just best to be a bit sentimental, you know? I should do it. Well, there was a Dive Fest character, not one of the ones I care about, mind you, but hey. That was something, I guess. Alright, so checking the battery one more time. Yeah, but notification should come up any couple of minutes now. So, be warned, it's gonna show up for a brief moment on the screen. I'll get rid of it as soon as possible. Don't worry. Now, I am going to exclude Endax from that list, namely because of the fact that, well, he's already the pickup character for this banner, so I don't really need to worry about pitying for him. So, excluding him, probably my second favorite of these Dive Fests has to be the one that dropped in Global on my freaking birthday. I'm not kidding, that actually happened. Let's pity Awakened Zero. Watch the notification come up right now, just due to his sheer power. Watch it happen, I swear. Oh man, buffed 4 times and still couldn't be relevant by the end. Still fun though. I have a soft spot for Awakened Zero, first Dive Fest character I ever actually had, and to this day, still one of the most fun to play. What'd I tell you? What did I tell you? The notification was about to pop up! Wow. Oh my god. I called that without meaning to, but damn it, that was funny. Anyway, I would probably consider him my third favorite of the Fest characters to run. Well, if we're not counting Base Cross and ZXA. If we're counting them as their own, like, special slots, then, like, those two are the uncontested top 2 among, like, the quote-unquote Fest characters, even though they aren't actually Fest characters. They're more of their own special brand of Limited. So, not counting them, Awaken Zero be third, and Dax second. Because, as much as I do find Next Dive Armor X a fun character, and a powerhouse arguably done right as of Global, in fact, his changes are some of my absolute favorites, including the nerfs, minus the Nova slash Gemu nerf from the time. But that got made up for with bringing at least some of his power back in quite a lot of ways. So, yeah, there's a lot I can say about DiVE. If I were to say everything, we'd probably be here all day. But, as a whole, I love this game. This will forever go down as one of my favorite games of all time. And it holds a special place in my heart that can never be taken away. I have high hopes that the Rockman Derivative Works team can actually restore the online functionality, at least among like the DNA system and whatnot, to the offline version of XDive. And we'll see where things go from there with that. Once they can get everything back up and running, I'll probably play that version too. Maybe, I don't know. But the final 10 polls, and because it's the last 10 we will ever see on this game, on this channel, I'm going to play out every single one of them. Here we go. Let's check the battery one more time. And let's begin with our first S rank of these final 10. It is unfortunately a weapon. And it just had to be the worst weapon in the game one last time. That's real. A layer. Bruh. But yeah. Like I said, I am going to very much miss Mega Man X Dive. It's been a fun ride, guys. And I honestly want to thank all of you who have stuck with the channel for the Dive content. For just all my content in general, it really means a lot that you guys were here with me for this journey since I decided to record the Proto Man EXE polls with Omega Zero. And of course, I did get some of my other close friends in on the poll recordings as well. And again, thanks to all of you as well for joining me for those when they came up. Thanks to the entire player base that... Oh hey, we get to see my girl one last time. Yeah, I was a diehard Ale man. I wouldn't have been one if I had gotten Ultimate Armor so soon. As soon as I tried to anyway. But, even so, back on point. Hey, first Armor X. The very first S rank. Yeah, no. Seriously. Thank you to all of you that have stuck with me for this journey. Those that I got the chance to, like, discuss the game with and just interact with in the DiVE player base. And getting the chance to play against many top players that were both new to the global scene and that debuted even back in Taiwan. It was a massive honor to play against you guys. It was a massive honor just to be a part of this community for a franchise that we have come to bond over and love to literally no end. It's just been an honor to be a part of such a big game. And I don't know how we can top this journey. I don't know where we go from here. But one thing for sure, while this game may be ending, our journey together will last a lifetime. And that is something that can't be taken away. Gaia armor again, wow. Hakai. That's what it is, and you can't change my mind. I almost went to skip on replay, bro. Massimo! Didn't get to see your S rank pulled on camera, but hey. Well, for this video anyway. But nonetheless. Alright. Number 4 of the final 10. We've got a double on the S rank, possibly a triple, who knows. Dive Mariko! Hey, the mascot one last time in the dive armor. And that's another index. There we go. So, that brings up one last question. Favorite of each character type. A rank, B rank, and then all the subcategories of S rank. Permanent, seasonal, dive fest, and collab. And I guess the S class hunters as well. So, favorite of the B ranks to use has to go to the OG B rank X. He's such a simple character, but when mastered in the right hands, he was an absolute monster. If you knew what you were doing. Shout out to Tempo for being an absolute beast with base X. Favorite A rank, it is obvious. It is the character who pretty much made me known as a player, and the one who got me as far as I did. A rank Ale. Fun character, very unconventional, very not standard, but she has a lot going for her if you know how her kit works. Favorite permanent S rank. Protomani EXE. I know he was considered broken for a long time, but I still love playing him. I genuinely love getting to play him again with the buffs, which, you know, was another buff for dual melee that wasn't warranted. It was fun getting to play Protomani EXE one more time. Seasonal characters. Ooh, that's tricky. Because personally, the only seasonal I really, like, super invested in was Halloween. The only other seasonal I would have considered was Halloween 0. In all honesty, I have to give it to Halloween Ale. Favorite Dive Fest? Well, that will be coming up at the end of this set of polls. So I'm not going to spoil that one just yet. But I will rate every single collab character. Sitting at the bottom for me, personally. Was probably Hunter R or Rathalos Armor X. Like, all the Monster Hunter 1 crew are in the bottom 3. Among the 11 collab characters. From there, I would have to say this is hard, but Chun-Li. Even though she was honestly the strongest of the Kill 5 characters until Zenogre Iris got her buff. Which, why? And this is just personal favorites to play. Akuma follows for the simple reason of this game just didn't work after a couple of months. Hey. From there, Crimson Valstrax here. I think just playing as him, he aged. Next up, we enter the top 5. At least in terms of playability. Oh wait, no, it's not 11. It's not 11 collabs, is it? It's 12 collabs, so we do have at least a couple more characters. So, never mind, I did miscount there. Anyway. From there, it goes to Zenogre Iris. For a while, the character was just too unhealthy for me to consider for fun. That's kind of just the big reason for it. From there, Zero Virgil Trigger. Now, that might be a bit of a hot take, but I have a good reason for it. Interesting as he was. He was either broken as all hell with his initial buff, which literally had an infinite, or he just didn't have much going for him, and dual melee was just a bad combo for a long time until it got overbuffed. Next up, Gormagala Eco. A very interesting take on Dive Armor Zero, in a way. The big problem with her was, whenever she was the better character, there was no point to play Dive Armor Zero. Whenever Dive Armor Zero was the better character, there was no reason to use her. Global did kind of remedy this, but not really. Next up, X Dante Trigger. I hated having to use him, but I ended up becoming really good. I'd argue he was definitely a fun pick to at least have as a point character, and just still a monster to this day. He aged really well, honestly, and that just goes to show you how well a lot of characters, even old ones, can age. Second place goes to Shigaru Magala Armor X. Fun space control character that reminded me a lot of Base EXE, Second Armor X, and Super Base all in one. He was fun. Broken for a while, well, for about a month, and then Gormagala just outclassed him in every way, but he was still very fun. And my boy Ryu, of course. Like, Ryu was a huge part of the journey. In fact, before the final farewell, I'm going to give an honest farewell with every single character that I've ever used, at least in a serious manner, throughout this long, crazy ride. Since I think it's a bit of a sentimental value. Okay, the notification might come up during that, but oh well. This is it. The very last poll. Let it end on a good note, please. Survey says, at least there's an S rank, so we are ending with an S rank. We are ending with a double. That is a nice way to wrap this up. Alright, what are the final 2 S ranks? One's a weapon. Hey, explosive bolt. That's a bit nostalgic. And another weapon, unfortunately. And it's Falcon Ballista, but honestly, at least one of the last polls ended on a next Dive Armor X. At least we have characters to wrap things up. And of course, we still have the final pity. Now, of course, Base Cross and ALZXA, great. I love playing the both of them. Y'all knew I was going to main ZXA when her trailer dropped. And I kept true to that. I did, unfortunately, have to drop her for a little while because of the stat changes. And then I tried to pick her back up with the buffs, and I do think the buffs were mishandled. She was more of a 1v1 character, but still. For the very last pity. Out of a whopping 32 Dive Fest characters, there is only one that can be the favorite. And that is Dive Cross Mega Man EXE. We are finishing off this game with one of my go-to mains. Among my favorites. As a Battle Network fan, I think it is only fair that we wrap up with this. So, that's it. No more polls, guys. It is officially over. Mega Man X Dive Global, in terms of content on this channel, maybe minus one final PvP set, is done. And so, thanks to all of you who have stuck with me through this journey. Thanks to the community. Thanks to all of you who watch the channel. We're gonna get rid of these one last time because we don't necessarily need these anymore. How many Next Dive Armor X's was it? Alright. So, 5 is 200 memories. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 23. So by a ratio, over 50% were Next Dive Armor X. That is actually pretty good. But, one last roll call for the entire squad that made this journey possible. OG A-Rank Ale. The one who basically kickstarted my journey as a major PvP player. And it was fun. Still an absolute blast, even to the end. And I'm a bit upset that her S-Class Hunter version, while it was planned, never got to release. Yeah, it was confirmed in a data mine that there was plans for S-Class Ale before end of service. They just never got to finish her. Hopefully Derivative Works does actually decide to bring that concept forward, and there's notification one last time. First S rank of the squad that managed to be a mainstay. Awaken Zero. Nostalgic character, still very fun, very much iconic, and an absolute menace. Speaking of menaces, one who aged like fine wine. Proto Man EXE. I know he was considered a carry back in the day, but I would argue I got really good. Fun character, absolutely loved using him. Still my favorite of the permanent pool S-rank characters. Now let's move back a bit to discuss. Where are you? Halloween Ale. Well, not a very powerful character whatsoever. In fact, without Turbo Cannon and A-Side Roll, she was kind of bad. I found a way to make her work. Wait a minute. Does that change color? Or is it always that one? That's just weird. Alright, one more time. If we don't see it change, we're gonna move on. I don't remember that being blue. I remember that being green. Anyway. Next up, we move over to Akuma. I only used him for a couple of months, up until Awakened Zero got DNA. But it was a satisfying time. Note that the skill seal used to be preventive, but now Sekiya Kuretsuha was giving that naturally post-buff. Fun times. Of course, Ryu. I could never forget this boy. Still one of my favorite characters in this game entirely. He was fun, he was an absolute menace if you knew what you were doing, and he definitely was a character that showed just how good you were as a player at calling things out. And playing the neutral. Base XX only brought him out for like what, one season, maybe two? But he was definitely fun for his time. Fell off quite a lot, but in the end he was still a fun character. We're gonna do Base Cross Mega Man early in place of one character in particular, because I want to save them for last. You know who it is. The last character I ever fully invested in and fully committed to maining, and was a part of my final PvP ranked squad. Probably without question my favorite buffs in Global DiVE. And I'm grateful for the chance to see him see the light of day. Dive Armor Zero. While he was overbuffed quite a lot after the buff era happened, he did have some struggles in Taiwan that were fixed. And I do appreciate that. Dive Armor Zero still proved to be a big part of my squad for a while, up until I would eventually go on to drop him. Only to pick him back up for a little bit later on, and he's a lot of fun now. Shadow Armor X I only used for a brief period of time, but I still feel like he's worth it. Pretty fun character, just for some reason I sucked at him. Of course, Dive Cross Mega Man EXE. Absolute beast. He did have some holes by the end of Taiwan that caused him to fall off, but those were since patched up, and after a few tweaks of buffs and nerfs alike, he became an absolute menace. Dive on Mariko. Bad during Taiwan, in Global she was insane for a while. Though she didn't age well by the end, she was still a character that I personally had a lot of fun with, even in her Taiwan version. X Dante Trigger. A character I really had some personal pride about using, but eventually bit the bullet from both Ebony and Ivory. See what I did there? And honestly, he became a clear-cut favorite of mine. He was fun, and I eventually got really good at him, similar to that of Proto Man EXE. Of course, next Dive Armor X. He had his rough patches, sure, but by the end, He became a true powerhouse, worthy of being considered an upgrade to the original DiVE Armor X with a bit of ultimate armor thrown in there. And of course, how could I forget? Last, but certainly not least, of course, permanently my longtime main. And I cannot wait to see how she'll end up being changed in derivative works, how the game will be changed with the player base being the ones in control of potential changes. But with that, that is it. To every character on this squad, it has been an honor getting to use them. It has just been an honor getting to play with these teams from beginning to end. And it's just been a fun ride. I can think of no better way to truly wrap up the Mega Man X DiVE Global experience. Thank you to all of you who were here for this final whole video. My final score on Mega Man X DiVE, as far as the review goes, is a full 10 out of 10. This game was amazing. It was truly a celebration of the franchise, and I don't think there will ever be a game like this again. So, with that said, that is it. Mega Man X DiVE is officially done. So, until the next set of videos, whatever it might be, until the next pieces of content on this channel in general, thank you all for being a part of this journey, and later, guys.